So today, we want to talk about reconciliation. So our goal, our mission is that we're going to understand that we are reconcilers in this plan called reconciliation. Now, first thing I want to tell you about reconciliation, I want to try and challenge your thinking a little bit. Well, let's read the text. Let's go to 11 and verse 11 through 16 or so. I'm in the King James Version today. Wherefore, remember that you being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time you were without Christ, aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope, and without God in the world. This is who we used to be. But now in Christ, can you say that? But now in Christ, Jesus, you who sometimes were far off, are made nigh by the blood of Christ. So this is our transitional scripture. We were this before, but now Jesus has brought us nigh. Right? Close. Verse 14. For he is our peace, who hath made both one man, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us. Oh, so it's two of us between us. Who's the two? Okay. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity or hostility, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain two, one new man, so making peace. So he's going to make two into one and create peace. Track it? It's going to be the basis for our message. He has two, which we haven't really identified yet. And then he's going to make them one by breaking down the wall, and that brings peace. Okay? 16. And that he might, what's the word? What is it? Reconcile both unto God in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby. And came and preached peace to you which were far off, and to them that were nigh, for through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. So, in 16 he says, and that he might reconcile both unto God in one body by the cross. So follow me here for a minute. There are two things he's doing here. We're going to talk about that slightly, but there seems to be these two entities or persons, the Gentiles and the Jews. One is the heathen nation, that would be us. We're not a part of the original Jew, meaning we didn't live in Palestine, Canaan, and we weren't a part of the promises of God. That God came to Israel first, all right? He came to the Jews first. Because the Jews rejected him, when he came to the cross, when he came as a child, they killed him, right? So that was the Jews saying, we don't want you. They killed him on the cross, and so Jesus says, all right then, I'll let Kevin in. I'll let Pastor Cherry in. I'll let Eric in. I'll let whoever in who wants to come. So these two were at odds. The Jews were feeling such a much, well, we got the original promises. We're the Jews. He came for us. Well, the Gentiles are saying, but he let us in, so we in now. Now you got to make this work, right? It's just like husband and wife coming together. The woman said, "This is my house," but you let me in. Now we got to learn to live together, right? I had this house before you got it. Well, we got married. Got to find a way to make it work. So what is going to be in the center of that is going to be the word what? Reconciliation. See, tracking, right? All right, so the text says, it's two-part in one sense. The text says, starts out in 11 talking about, hey, you guys were scum. You guys were Gentiles in the flesh, uncircumcised, without Christ, aliens, strangers, covenants. And so it sounds a lot like today, right? It sounds a lot like, we want to build a wall to keep out the aliens, foreigners, non-citizens. We want, so some people still know what it's like to not be in the house per se. You understanding? So follow me. I'm going to try and make it practical for us as well. So what I want you to understand, though, is sometimes, listen to this, there was a change, meaning that the Jews and the Gentiles were going to come together. All right? The Jews and the Gentiles were going to come together. But then it said they needed to be reconciled to God. So the two steps. So wait a second. So first something had to change before it could be reconciled to God. Listen very carefully, because we just assume that once things change, that's the... All right? So sometimes we make changes in our lives. We get new positions. We make new changes. We say, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop. Okay, that's a change you've made. Doesn't mean you've been reconciled. So watch this. So there's a lot of new things in your life. A lot of new things. But it doesn't quite work. It doesn't quite fit. You're not quite gelling. It's not still working for you because you've made the changes. Great, bravo. But you haven't reconciled it with God. Are you with me? So we have to learn how to get the new things in our life settled. We have to get nestled in it. In other words, you may change. Okay, let's say you start smoking for a week. You haven't quite reconciled that lifestyle, right? Or let's say you start working out and you're going to work out 5 times a day. I'm sorry, 5 times a week. Let's go there. 5 times a week. Woo, boy. Let's say you're going to work out 5 times a week. You came off of not working out at all. Right? You're going to need to get reconciled with that kind of new lifestyle. Are you following me?
Amen.
So, played Tavio yesterday in some basketball. I haven't played in a long time. So, we played a couple games. I needed to get reconciled again with breathing that hard and running down the court. So I lost both games. I did. It's okay. But the point is, we have to get reconciled to the new changes in our life. I mean, what do you think? You're gonna meet some new boo. You're gonna meet some new girlfriend or boyfriend, and all of a sudden it's supposed to work. You get married, and then the first year, even the Bible says in the Old Testament, when you get married, take a year off. Because you need a year to get acclimated. Yes, the Bible teaches that they were to take a year off and spend that time together so that when, man, you get married and everything changes. Everything changes. Well, nowadays, people live together at first and then, but not right. Let's make that clear. You should come together after you marry and celebrate all the newness of things. But the point is, you get married, you need time for the record. You get a new job. You get a new job. They tell you new assignments. It's going to take you a minute to get reconciled. Tracking?
Yeah.
So there's lots of new things in your life. And don't raise your hand, but think of it. What's new in your life? I know we say what's good, but we say, what's new? What's new? What's new? And if it is new, or maybe it's been new for a while, but still not reconciled. Which means you haven't given its full order and its fullest potential. So whenever we come out of something, we've been brought into this new union. So I have this hypothesis. This is my statement that's going to help us get going. I would venture to say that many of us have made changes, and good changes, but have failed to be reconciled with the new. You have new friends, new places, new callings, new job, etc. But you have failed to reconcile with the new things in your life. And so it rendered ineffective. So how do we reconcile? Let's talk about how do we get there. So the past, let me say this, let me get this clear. The past aren't reconcilable. Listen to this. The past is not reconcilable. You don't take the old and reconcile it to God. The only thing that is reconciled to God is the new. Listen carefully. So what do you do with the past? Well, let's look at the text. The text said in the past you were without Christ, jacked up. Now in Christ, but now in Christ Jesus, you who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Christ. Now here's the change. We've been made nigh. Here's the change, but we haven't been reconciled yet. Verse 14, for he is our peace, who has made both one and has broken down the middle of partition between us. So wait a second. So we've got a past and we have something new. So what do we need to do? We need to break down the wall of partition between the old and the new and make it one, make it new, and then what do we do with it? Reconcile. Good. So what we do a lot of times, this is good teaching. Listen to this. What we do sometimes is we take the new only and we try to reconcile it to God. Well, you know that's crazy, because whether you like it or want to or not, your past always seems to rear its head. And then you get frustrated and disappointed because you feel like, I'm trying to do what's right. I made some new changes. I did that. But this keeps being a problem. You're right. God saved you. But he didn't take you away from your past. Right. Who you were must be conjoined with who you are. And you as one person must be what? Reconciled to God. So bring your, I wish I had some luggage. I wish I could just carry my luggage. Bring your baggage. Bring your bags onto Jesus. But don't let your baggage or your past be the full scope of your conversation. Do you get what I'm saying? Don't, whenever you talk about, well, I used to be, anybody who talks about their heyday more than they talk about their nowadays, they living in yesterday. All right? You're not living in this world. A friend of mine was, a preacher I was listening to say one time, he used to see this friend all the time, and every time they got together, they talked about what they used to do. And so after a while, it got old, because the preacher was saying, I appreciate those times, dog. You know, we had a good time. That was us back then. But I'm realizing we don't have anything in common now. And sometimes when we moved over to Ladera Heights, when we first moved over there, we used to ride our bikes all the way back to 64th Street, 64th and Gage. We used to ride our bikes back and forth. Why? Because we couldn't separate our old friends, our old home. We couldn't get it to mesh with where we were. Because Ladera Heights is back then totally different from the hood back in the day. We lived right in the middle of the Brims and the Crips, the blues and the red. We were in the middle. They came to our block to fight. That's where they would meet, in the center, right? So we would meet. So we didn't know how to bring it together until eventually that ride got longer and longer and longer. In other words, your past starts taking too much of your time. It starts taking too much of your energy. And what do? Eventually, you try to push it off. I'm telling you, that's not the goal. Don't totally extricate it and putting it off, because the past is very much building blocks of who you are. Without the Old Testament, how do we breed Christianity? Without understanding the God of righteousness, the God of justice, the God of the law, the God who parts red seas, the God of the Old Testament, El Shaddai, El Elyon, all of these gods. If we don't read the Old Testament, how can I celebrate the power of the new? Amen. So here's what I say. Yes, I failed, Mike, but look here. I succeeded with this. And guess what? My failing taught me something of what not to do this time. So I embraced what I messed up with, and I learned how to execute more wisely now. And even now, when I work, When I was 19, 20, I did a different kind of work. Now, oh, no. I've earned my status. I have my position. I don't work like I used to. I work smarter. I work wiser. I've learned some things. I've earned this tenure, 20 years in the business. You won't see me sitting down, jumping down the computer, going at it like you do. No, I won't. There's steps I skip altogether because just in my experience, which means sometimes there are steps in relationships you skip altogether based on your experience with boo-boo the fool. And is this helping at all? Amen. I'm trying to vary off my notes, but I want you to understand how do we reconcile this? Well, we had a union with our past, and so we've got to get to this point and knowing that the importance of your past is listen, the reason for knowing the importance of the past is so that you don't try to reconcile it. You got to know what you are not taking to God. You don't want to take that old relationship that God discounted and say, reconcile this. That's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking him to do that. I'm asking him to help me learn what I need to learn from that, join it up with who I am today, and set me up now under your guidance and leadership so I can be in the right situation. Are you tracking? This is really good. I hope that you're tracking. You're kidding. Yeah, I'm not gonna hit you. So you want to separate these people here. You know how it used to be. We were separate we were without Christ. We were aliens in the Commonwealth of Israel. Didn't have no promises. I mean, this is who we were. But now we have been brought nigh by Jesus Christ. So why hold on? Listen to this. Why hold on to what breaks you? Why hold on to what people do it every day? People are suffering today because they cannot find a way to mesh this with where they are right now. Oh, you big bad. You think, boy, you please read the wrong book, see the wrong movie, smell the wrong perfume, hear the wrong song. It'll send you all the way back, send you 10 years back, and you'll be crying. Oh, and people cry to drop the hat, and every time something comes, they're not healthy. They're not healed yet. Do you get what I'm saying? So you don't want to bring that over, so you have to know that what that is in the past. And I say this, when you feel better about yourself, you stop destroying yourself. Most abusers abuse because they want to abuse themselves. High pitch, bring it down a little, Jerry. All right. The point is, most people who abuse their spouses are not happy with themselves. And their anger is projected onto the closest and nearest person. And oftentimes, when it's not a spouse in the house, she or he is going to get the adult first. If the spouse or mate is not in the house, then we get the child. So just a couple of ways. Just allow me to digress just for a minute. So a man in a house may beat a spouse or beat a child out of anger, but women have a different type of abuse on the child as well when the man is not in the house. The man's abuse is anger, it's violent. The woman's abuse can be friendly and loving. Because when the mate is out of the house, the male mate is out of the house, she becomes the friend with the child instead of the parent. And the relationship takes on almost, watch this, and I've seen it, I'm sure there's studies for it. I've seen an adult woman make a young male child her prince or king. And so this relationship begins to take a small turn. It makes the male somebody to her because she can't get a date. She can't find a man. He becomes her everything. And said, I'm out on a date with my son. You're not out on a date with your son. I'm with the most important person in my life. Or with the girl, the female, then instead of the mother being the parent of the child, they become best friends. So they dress alike. And so this abuse grows up this child too early, making her think she's equal to the mom. So of course you lose respect. You lost the authority. You've lost now your ability to call a shot. All of which are impacted or brought to that point because of their pasts. He started it because of his past, didn't make him happy. She started because old boy left her and she's alone. That's her past. Now he's brought his past protected on his mate or his child. She's brought her past protected on her children. Instead of taking the past, finding out who you are now in God, learning how to bring it together, and then taking that good, right piece of old and new. What, even the wedding? Something old, something new, something blue? This one, right? Something old, something new, something borrowed. There we go, something blue. Thank you. Instead of learning how to, and you get it? You get the concept where it comes? Something borrowed, something blue. In other words, something new, something. Find a way to make this exist in a wholeness thought. So can I go further? Or are you still with me? You're not sleepy yet, right? No. All right. So watch this. So verse 13 says we are brought nigh in Christ, and we are to be one new man. Now remember. So the point is, you can't just help people change. You've got to get them to the point where you reconcile them. Now, but there are obstacles. So watch this. Verse 14 introduces this first obstacle. The obstacle of the middle wall of partition. You see that? Say that. The middle wall of partition.
The middle wall of partition.
All right. So there is an obstacle between, there's something keeping us from bringing these two together. So all I've told you, now you could be like, oh yeah, Pastor, all right, I want to do that. But I'm telling you, when you go to try to bring your past with your new, you're going to hit a wall. You with me?
Yeah.
So we got to figure out what to do with the wall. Three things with the wall. Write it down if you can. Number one, you got to bring down the wall. Number two, you have to combine the two sides. And number three, you have to generate the peace. Okay? So here's our goal. First goal is bring down the wall. Second goal is make these two come together. Third goal is produce peace. Imagine. So Randy, here's what I'm. You're not a very peaceful person if you haven't made your past make sense with your future. Peaceful people have resolved their issues. When your issues are resolved, what happens? You go. When it's unresolved, you're don't know. Me and Joy were waiting on the inspector to do something, and we were waiting for the report. And we would all the while he was looking around doing the report. And then he comes and says, "Oh, you're good. No charges. There's no there." And we was like, "No, literally, this is what I did." Thank you, Lord. I was outside in the public, and I'm on my knees. Thank you, Lord. And I felt an overwhelming sense of I was not at peace before. You're going to resolve issues. Say resolved issues. Resolved issues. I want my issues resolved, Carrie. Because when those issues get so resolving issues means confronting. Oh, this is too. I'm going too far. Okay, Joy, is this? I should stop. So if I'm going to resolve issues, I've got to do something about it. You can't let stuff unfold on its own. That wall ain't coming down if nobody don't kick it down. That wall's going to stand up there. Lord, it's good. It's Tuesday. Wall. It's Thursday. Wall. It's 2014. Wall. It's 2020. Wall. It's 2028. Wall. If you haven't done anything with it. So the text says, right here, who hath made both one, who hath what? Broken? Say there are dividing walls. There was a wall around Jerusalem. Remember? Now we're talking about keep putting a wall up around, keep people out from other countries. See what a wall does? A wall keeps things in, and a wall keeps things out. You better see, you missing it on two fronts. You thinking, I got a wall up, I got a wall up, ain't nothing getting in here. But at the same time, sister or brother, ain't nothing getting out either. In other words, nothing is coming together to bring fluidity, to bring the wretchedness, the hope and the togetherness, the connectedness that you need with the reconciliation with God. And so you're frustrated day to day, and you can't be. And the whole point of all of this, because you jacked up, you can't be a powerful Christian in the world. And so I'm trying to bring you into training. I'm trying to get you acclimated. I'm trying to adjust your dial, to recalibrate you, to say, hey, this is 2016, it's almost over. And you still trying to figure that puppy out. You started January 1 with new resolutions. Woo! Failed all of them. And now you're getting ready to settle in the status quo and ride August, September, October, November, December out as if I'll try again January 1. Stop that foolishness. Amen. It's half the year is gone and I want power. I want to say something. I want to be boisterous. I want to have value. I want to be a better person, if not for you, for me. I want to get it right in here because God has called me. Now, you can go smoke, drink, fall out, act a fool, be in the gutter if you want to. I'll do my best to help you. But at the end of the day, I am responsible at the pearly gates for me. All right. Amen. I feel something coming on me. But this wall, if you notice, it says the middle wall of partition. And it says having abolished in his flesh the enmity. In other words, this wall has hostility. That Greek word there means hostility. The wall has, Jesus. Don't you know that on the other side of the wall is rage? Do you think that on the other side is your friend? Is your ally? No. If that was your ally, wouldn't be no wall. Oh, I'm preaching here today. I'm preaching. On the other side of the wall is somebody you're at odds with. Anytime there's a wall, there's a difference between levels of agreement. And God is saying, any wall that's in your life is not a friendly. It's not a friendly. That's what they call it in the service here. Is that we got a friendly in the sky? That's a friendly. No. Or if you look for the emblem on the plane to try to see, is it Japan? Is it German? Is it French? Is it U.S.? That's a friendly. If it's not a friendly, it's a wall between it. In other words, they have a line that if Russia crosses that line, you're out of your zone. But in the U.S., I'm within the zone. There are no walls. I can go wherever I want to go in the U.S. But if I try to go to Great Britain, I need a passport to get through there. So the wall has hostility. The wall is protecting. But it also is protecting you from resolving issues. Who wants protection from resolving my issues? It's the deception of the enemy who sells that lie to you. Well, you just need to keep on, just be quiet. Just don't say nothing. It just come on. That's your enemy, and that's just the way it is. No, I want every issue in my life resolved. I'm preaching. God, no amen. I'm saying it. So there should be no hostility between your old place and your new place. Listen to what I'm saying. There should be no hostility between your old place and your new place. So if I get in my new place, but my old place is chanting, hating, hollering, you ain't nobody, you think you're all that. What does that mean? Hostility. People hate when you change. People hate when you change. People hate when you change. And if you don't find a way to bring your hate into your new, you will never be reconciled with God. You ever try to to leave your ex and get a new boo? Listen to what I'm saying. You can leave your ex and not get a new boo and all is cool. But leave your ex and get a new boo, then all of a sudden, it's a problem. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. People are fine with you leaving them as long as you don't do nothing better than them. Oh, man, mess around here and do something better than what you left. What? Right? Hostility. And now you have a responsibility, Kev, to bring down that wall. You got to find a way to make it one. Because why? Peace is the goal. You want peace with them, you want peace with you, and you want peace with God. Come on. It's not enough. And here's what people get. People make changes and they say, I feel better, right? I'm sorry. And I'm talking, bust your bubble. I'm sorry. You feel better about yourself, but they're angry, they're hostile, the kids are mad, the job is frustrated. All of that's a mess. And you don't even have peace with God, but you're okay because you lost 20 pounds. Do you see how selfish? You need peace in three realms. You need peace there, you need peace here, and you need peace with God. I hope I'm helping somebody. Sister Opal Smith raised a son who might try to help some people. But here's the tough part. Now get your hanky out and you might start crying. But the way to get to this is that one of the ways has to die. So the way to kind of bring it together is that something has to die. We don't want to die. And so guess what? Out of the past, and out of all that's going on around with you, out of the unbelievers, out of all the things around you, God is going to pick you. He's going to pick the believer. He's going to pick the one with faith. He's going to say, you can handle the death, so I'm going to pick you to die. So here it goes. Doggone it. Now I'm messed up because I'm trying to change, man. I've made significant changes this year. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm exercising, I'm feeling better. I'm going to Bible study. I'm praying more. All of that, feeling all good. And then all of a sudden, Lord want me to bring everything together. I made a few calls. I try to reach out and say, how you doing? God bless you. I'm mad at you, angry. Forgive me. I was wrong. I'm gonna write a song. Jordan, I was wrong. Just write a song. And so you do all of that, but then God says, but you still have to die. And the concept is God purposely uses his children as sacrifices. Well, why wouldn't he? Because he was the main sacrifice. And so we say we're Christians, which means we are Christ-like, which means if he sacrificed and died, then we must be willing to. So in order to stop the rhetoric, guess what we have to do? Oh, man, like I was following you until you said I got to die. I was in your corner, preacher, until you said I had to die. He lets you lose. He lets you lose the battle. He lets it hurt. He lets it seem like they have plummeted you, that they have gotten the best of you. But I can tell you, you're not losing for no reason, because ultimately, get the big picture, you're becoming one whole person. And I'm going to tell you this, there is no whole person, healthy whole person that I know that has not come to a comfortableness with pain, sorrow, and death. You cannot not be healthy and all you know is success and promotion. What happens when people come straight out the gate, get paid $1 billion, all of a sudden they spend it rapidly, they have no relationship skills, they have no identifiable skills, they don't even know who they are, and guess what they do? They jack it all up. So God doesn't give you all of your blessings all at once. He gives you balance. He gives you some, then he breaks you down. He gives you more, and he breaks you down. He gives you more, and he breaks you down. So then when you really get this, you're like, oh, that don't even mean nothing because I know the Lord ain't going to do nothing but puff me up, and I know I don't need to be there. I need to be humble. So by the time you get something good, you're so done with trying to get it that you're like, oh, ain't no thing. You be ready to give it away to people. And God is saying, good. I'm glad you're in that place. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, you have to get the big picture. Now, here's what happens. Death cancels all the arguments. So, having abolished from the flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinance, for to make in himself twain one new man. So, in other words, flesh, the enmity, the law of commandments contained in ordinance, he abolished them. Why? To make in himself one new man. So, you abolish the rules. You abolish the ordinances. So what did he do? He abolished the Old Testament law. He abolished the law. He fulfilled it himself. He said, I will die so that this won't matter. In other words, you do something that won't matter to the haters. You take away their power by killing it. What do we say? Squash it. What do we say? Kill that noise. Felicia, bye. Right. We see too much social media. All right, so we say kill it, right? In other words, kill something to stop this back and forth. A husband and a wife who can't agree, somebody's gonna have to decide. I'm giving you this one. If you want to have it now, you God bless you going up in the hospital with stress cold or something, or heart something. But the point is, you've got to at some point die to it. And that's what Jesus did. He died to it. Why? He abolished the laws and the rules and the ordinances so that we can become one new man. So break down all the rules and all the ordinances and all the standards you have that you made that mistake with that last situation. You had all these standards, 18 of them. And your 18 standards got you that. And now you come to church because you need Jesus. Die to the rules. Die to the standard. Die to the so structured life where the Holy Spirit can't guide you. Die to this notion that everything has got to be on time. And I know, I've been there, perfectionist. Everything got to be on time. I get irritated when people late and they don't join. Die to all of that. Now, I'm not saying be just chaotic. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if the Spirit begins to move and you sense He's doing something different, be open to that. Why? The goal is so that you can become a whole person and you can become this new man or new woman. Death cancels all the arguments. Can you have an argument with a dead person in a casket? No, you're arguing with yourself. Right? So, if you died to it, then there's no one to argue with. His death brought the new order, and if you want a new and a blessed life, something or someone has to die. And that's the bottom line. So the goal is going to be twofold. You're going to create the new man, and then you're going to bring the order of peace. The second thing is to reconcile. So let me wrap this up with this. Where am I at? All right, yeah, I'm just about out of time. Maybe I'm going to do this next week. Here's the reconciling part. The reconciling part is that you've got to bring this all under God. You've got to bring it all under God. Remember I said, change it, break down the wall, make it one. Right? Merge your past with your now. Get that together. Then reconcile to God. Well, what does reconciling to God mean? Watch this very carefully. Reconcile, anybody ever... Y'all probably don't do it anymore, but we used to reconcile your checkbook. You guys know that? Balance your checkbook, right? That's what in your check. Anybody got a checkbook in here? On the back of the checkbook used to be lines in the back after your deposit slips where you would kind of keep track of what was paid, what came in, what posted. Because mind you, thank you. So mind you, what if you write a check and it hasn't posted, the money's still in the account. So you may see a number that doesn't match with what is actual. You're going to miss this. Don't go to sleep yet. Let me see if you got it. Nope, they don't even give it to you no more. Nope, just a deposit slip. They used to put it in the back where you get the book, and in the book you have it. So the point is, watch this. Reconciling to God means that you are matching here what matches what God has there.
Yes.
Reconciliation is about my life being whole enough to match God's call and purpose on my life up there. In other words, He sees me one way there, and what you see here matches that.
Yeah, we got it.
So my God, I mean, sometimes I don't. I mean, if you don't say amen, I don't know, or I say yeah, or I don't know. So if this doesn't match, here's what I'm saying. If this doesn't match what's in heaven, you are not reconciled. Doesn't balance. God sees great things for you. He's like, I know the future plan I have for you, plans to prosper, plans to be a blessing, plans to be, and you're getting high, smoking your life away, or sorry. In other words, you're destroying your life. It doesn't match. This is too much past. It doesn't balance. You're living too much past, or you're living too much optimism. You're living like a dream world, like you're not even realistic. You think this thing is going to change?
Amen.
You're too optimistic. He's shown you over and over, and you say, it's going to work out all right. It's going to be all right. We're going to get this house. We're going to get this. House is $3 million. You make $35,000 a year. That's too optimistic. It doesn't match. Yes, God may give you a $3 million house, but you got to at least make $1 million. In other words, He may get. Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about. I've seen God do some stuff for me that I knew I didn't qualify for, but I was at least close enough. I had a job at least to be able to sit it. Come on, somebody. You know that God will do something for you, but you got to be in the proximity of the blessing. You've got to match. Somebody said it's got to match. I want my life to match. What does God say about you? The Bible says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. But you get up every morning and say, I don't feel good about who I am. It doesn't match. The Bible says you're more than conquerors through Him that loves us. But you say, oh, I'm so scared. I don't know what they're going to do to me. It doesn't match. The Bible says, and my God shall supply all my needs according to His riches and glory through Christ Jesus. And you say, I don't know what we're going to eat. It doesn't match. Woo! Thank you, Jesus. My God, thank you. My God, thank you. The Bible says He is the shepherd and the bishop of your soul. His name is Jehovah Rapha, the Lord who healeth thee. And you say, I'm just going to lay here and die. It doesn't match. God heals. Even if you die, you're healed. You can be in ICU looking at the nurse, knowing you don't have time, but you have joy on your face because the Bible says the joy of the Lord is my strength. The Bible says His name is Emmanuel. God is with us. I will be with you always, even to the end of the world. And you're sitting at home, single, and saying, I'm so lonely. It doesn't match. Never alone. Old song. I don't have to worry because I'm never alone. He walks beside me every day. Come on. Listen, you're never by your make it match. Listen, your goal is not to match what other people say about you. The goal is to match what God says about you. So if they don't like your couture, if they don't like your spirituality, if they don't like your relationships that you have, if they don't like where you live, the car you drive, the clothes you wear, you say, guess what, boo? I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to impress God. I need to be reconciled to God, not reconciled to you. I need it to match. Somebody say make it match. I need agreement. Somebody say agreement. I need my plans to line up with God's plans. You get what I'm saying? I know I'm doing what God has called me to do. Why? Because it's matching. Anybody else play cards with the match? Well, I forget what it's called. But you turn over the one card and, go fish, not go fish. Sort of like that. Concentration. That's it. There we go. So you gotta concentrate. It's just like Simon, Simon, colors green, blue, red. But the old card game. Turn on the King of Hearts. You gotta find another king, the matching king. In other words, you gotta remember, it doesn't match. If it doesn't match, you don't get the point. Every time my life lines up with what God has for me in heaven, I get a blessing. So the more my stuff lines together, try to write a check when your bank account don't match with the amount on the sofa you try to buy. You better look at here. So you better get it to match. But when it matches, when my 500 in the bank matches the 500 you asking, I can write that check. That check is good. And guess what? You get a blessing. Every time you try to seduce somebody and woo them, it happens every day. Suave, debonair, nice, hippie, cute, long hair, trying to talk to people, and you selling something you ain't really got. You don't have character. You don't have honesty. You don't have integrity. You look good, but you're a wreck. It doesn't match. And we're wrong with isn't that what they call it? Match game? Isn't that what they call it? Is that your match? We matched up, we hooked up, right? Is that your partner? Everything. In other words, it needs to work together. The goal of reconciliation is to find two things that didn't normally exist and make them exist. Many people change, but they don't change. And God says, kudos to many of you. You made some great changes. Hallelujah, proud of you. But you haven't reconciled that change with me. You done found a new man, but you haven't brought him to me. You found a new job, but you haven't brought him to me. You scared to bring him to me because you're scared what I'm going to say about it, right? You're afraid it's not going to match. And yeah, that's true. I don't bring stuff because I don't want to see if it matches or not. But when you're confident that you know it's going to line up, when you know you got juice on your card, I walk in and the salesperson come up to you, may I help you? Not right now, I'm just browsing. And when I'm ready for you, I'm a little cocky when I call you. I say, yeah, I'm ready now. Would you show me this? Yeah, this is what I want. Because my card is good. See what I'm saying? But when you know your stuff is depleted, when you know your stuff is busted, and it don't match, then you're sitting there trying, well, what happened was, well, I don't really want like the whole couch. Can I do like half the couch? I don't really want a new car, but do you have something that's like 10 years old? In other words, you're always bargaining. God, I wish I had some people understand what I'm saying. You're always bargaining. You're trying to hustle a deal. That's poverty mindset. And I have to check myself sometimes. I still walk into some expensive place and I'm still trying to hustle the salesperson. Look here, some stuff, when you go into Tiffany, when you go into Rolls Royce, when you don't go, they don't hustle with you. The price is what it is. And we're assuming that if you walk through our door, you can at least pay for it. So ain't no hustle. Matter of fact, I ain't even going to say much to you. The deal is the deal. And you already know if you're going to do it, if you're going to go in. Because you don't go in there wondering if I'm going to buy a $2 million car. You don't go, no, you go in knowing what you can. Woo! And you got to learn how to not walk up on stuff and still be trying to decide. I want to like that balance. By the time I walk in your area, by the time I walk on your job, I already know God has given it to me. I know I'm going to get this job because it matches my skills. It matches my gifts that God has given me. If God gave me the gift to be able to write, play, hear music, to produce it, compose it, arrange it, if he can, he must want me to make some money from it. Now, I'm going to write gospel, I'm going to write R&B. I'm going to write anything that can get me paid without prolific lyrics and all the nastiness. But I'm going to write something positive and I'm going to make my money. But you're supposed to be a preacher, right? But he gave me gifts with music. And so I'm going to use my music for the church too. But he gave me a gift to get paid with too. So I'm going to use, listen, when you know you have a gift for that job, you go in that job and say, this is what God gifted me to do. And if this ain't the place, there's another place that God didn't give you a gift for you to sit at home and not do nothing with it. Well, there's no way I can't get to it all, but reconciliation is basically bringing everything under the order of God. So it's just lining up with His will. So first you change it. First you bring your past. You become one new person. That's good, but you're still not reconciled. There are a lot of Christians who are saved, coming to church, doing good things, but they're not under the order of God. They're still doing their own ministry. They're still loving their own way. They're still living where they want to live. They're still doing it the way they want to do it. Nice people give you money. They'll give you $200 if you need it. Yeah, but that's not necessarily what God called them to do. A reconciled life means your life has been brought under the order of God. And the order of God sometimes will tell you, leave her, leave it, change this, do this, and you won't necessarily agree with it. But when you match what He has in heaven, then you can say, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I'm PC, that's all I got for you.